Hello, humans. This is Retro Rocket Man. Hope you're feeling well. This time round, I am going to do a custom on this Batman figure from Spin Master. He's got 16 accessories, armor pieces that you put on the body. This is how he comes in the box. This is how he looks out of the box. He's 12 inches high, roughly 30 centimetres in my language. And it's got lots of good detail and lots of nice accessories. With all this stuff on, if he ever falls in a lake, he's going straight to the bottom. So I'm going to paint this guy up and make him look 10 times better. Got lots of lovely stuff hanging off him that are just begging for attention. The articulation is quite impressive, apart from the usual head swivel, a little bit of up and down, not much. You've also got shoulders, and they swivel around 360. And you've got upper bicep swivel, elbow, even wrist, and 360 on the wrist, even 360 on the elbow. So most impressive. With the wrist, he also has a in and out. He's got upper torso articulation, but it seems to just spring back. It doesn't really do a whole lot. You get a little bit of back and a little bit of front crunch, but that's all. And there's nothing in the waist. And in the legs, you've got thigh out and also a 360 swivel there. You've got knees, practically a bit more than 90 degrees, and you've even got ankle, a pivot there, and also a bit of a rocker going on. So yes, for the price point, a lot of articulation, which is quite impressive. On the body itself, you have all these little port areas for the armour to key into, so they're a bit unsightly on this undressed figure. If you were going to leave the armour off, you'd probably want to fill those. You can see them on the legs as well. These are all ports for the armour to key into, to plug into. Yeah, so he's kind of impressive. Got a lot of detail. Just a little bit weird in proportions. He's quite skinny for a Batman. It looks like he's been on a diet or something. He's lost a bit of weight. Very slender. But yeah, for the price, I actually picked this up for 13 Australian dollars on clearance, so no complaints. For a basic action figure, get him into these weird poses. It's got a lot of articulation. I call this the crab pose. And he's standing on his own. For the armour, I think I'm going to probably distress these pieces a bit more. Maybe give them some scratches and some cuts before painting, and just give it a bit more of a battle worn appearance. And it's kind of, because it's a soft pliable plastic, it should scratch up and cut up pretty easily. Yeah, and the anything that reads to me as being metal will get that sort of treatment. Any of the strapping will probably just be painted, maybe with a brown or a black or somewhere in between, and then some weathering. And just to give it that well-used, well-worn impression, and take away from the plastic look. Once it's painted and weathered, it should come up a treat. It's already got some distressing evident in the sculpt, but I'm probably more inclined just to give it a bit more, make it even more so. But good job, Spin Master. This is quite a nice figure. For the accessories that he has, like his weaponry and apparatus, they'll be getting a paint job too and weathered up as well. Whether I incorporate them on the figure in the end will be entirely up to me, but I'll probably just give them a bit of a paint job anyway, just for the fun of it, and weather them, give them some damage, just to give them a different level, take that plastic look away, and then my options will be left open. Yeah. The belt, of course, very, very central focal point of the figure. That will be getting some special attention too. Definitely have to get rid of this plastic look. And of course the cape. It's pretty underwhelming for a cape. Looks more like a sash, it's so skinny and thin. It's not very substantial at all, so I might have to see what I can do with that. Probably will end up replacing it. We'll see. So to begin with, I think I'll just give the armour a bit more sculpting damage. Just carefully going in with the knife, just carving out some chips and scratches and whatnots. Even though the sculpt already has some of that in it, it's not that discernible, certainly not in the unpainted version. So I'm just going willy-nilly, giving it a bit of extra interest and damage. Some nice little chips out of the corners. Trying not to make it look like it's too manufactured, a bit more random. And I'll be repeating this process on all the armour pieces to certain degrees, obviously. So I'm just using a Tamiya military green. It's a very sort of drab olive sort of colour. And it'll dry nice and flat on this drone, because the plain black is just too boring. So I'm going to just dress it up a little bit. Just kind of feeling my way with this one. I really don't know how it's going to turn out. So So just a bit of trial and error. I'll probably try and incorporate one or two other colours as well, just to break it up. We definitely will be putting a chrome finish on these certain parts as well. So this is the Tamiya chrome, just to give it some metal appearance. And hopefully all these little design details in the sculpt will be much more obvious. After all, somebody goes to a lot of effort just to create these details that you would otherwise miss from just a straight up moulded piece of plastic. So I'm just trying to show my appreciation by accenting those design details. People should get a lot more recognition for the work they do. Just giving the weaponry a bit of a touch up as well. Again, just the chrome silver, trying to disguise the plasticky look and feel of these accessories. A little bit of paint goes a long way. So I'm going to try a Tamiya metallic blue just for a different look. Don't know how this is going to go, but anything can be overpainted if it doesn't work anyway. I'm just going for a very dramatic statement. Any visitors to my channel previously would notice that this is the same blue that I used on my Wolverine figure, just on his shoulder pads. I'm not too concerned about getting paint on the faceplate because it's going to be redone anyway. Lots of touch-ups usually are required because I'm a bit messy with my paint. It's always a good idea to practice not getting paint on other surfaces if you can help it. Having a decent brush usually helps too when doing fiddly bits like this. I've decided to do these areas, but this top area here I might just do a more flatter colour just to create more contrast, more aesthetically pleasing to look at. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this. It's giving me almost like RoboCop vibes. Almost. So I'm just going to stick to what I consider to be the metal parts of the armour, because naturally you've got this strapping and stuff, which I'll probably do in some sort of complementary flat colour, if I can find one. Really liking this blue. It's going to be different. So I decided to go with a contrast on the belts and the strapping, just to break it up as well. So I'll be painting those. What colour I do not know yet. It will either be a brown for leather or a black even. One of the two most likely, and that should give me a nice lovely contrast against this metallic blue. Now how am I going to get that off my finger? Am I going to have to wait for that to dry? I'm going to be using this Tamiya Natio Brown for all the strapping and bindings on the armour, because the belt has a nice brown finish, but I'll probably end up painting over this with the same Natio anyway. And there's this like herringbone pattern on the main belt for the waist area, and it's also repeated on the leg armour. So that tells me this should have the same finish as this. So that's going to get the brown. and then it's just going to follow through with all the other strapping on all the other armour pieces as well. So let's brown this down, shall we? Brown this down. Probably going to require at least another coat, even though this is going on quite well. It's still some of the black's coming through, so this is definitely going to be a 2-coat process. And at this stage I don't know what I'm going to be putting on these. I might even just use the same brown and then give it a highlight with another brown, a lighter brown, just to weather it and differentiate it from the strapping. Time to do some chipping, some paint chipping, some scratching just on some of the edges, just to break it up and try to make it completely random and another level of interest, and also just breaks it up a little bit more so it doesn't look quite so uniform. The last thing you want is your uniform to look uniform. Just a little bit of random silver paint applied sparingly just to show some more details, make things stand out that it might otherwise not be noticeable. Just trying to hit some of these high edges as if they have been damaged in some sort of a altercation or confrontation with the bad guys. Sometimes just a little is all you need. Don't try not to overdo it. It's easier said than done, but that's what I'm trying to do. We certainly don't want to make it look symmetrical, so by putting random scratches here and there gives it more of an asymmetrical look, because when things happen by chance there's no real pattern to it. It's just a random event. Some people might think it's kind of counterproductive, going to so much trouble to paint something nicely, only to mess it up, if you like. But that's the subjective nature of all this sort of stuff. It just comes down to your own tastes. Trying not to put too much paint on the brush, just to touch it off just a little bit. just to give it some character. And when everything's combined back together, it's quite a dramatic impact. So I'm using a colour called Night Sky by DecoArt. It's like a greyish purple. I'm going to use this as an all-over colour on the body just to lighten it up a bit. And we'll see how it looks. Might require more than one coat. I need to lighten the undersuit up a fair bit because too much of the detail is just lost in all this plastic. But I'm just going willy-nilly at the moment, just to get the paint on there. It's come out kind of like a purpley grey, so I'm not entirely sure whether I like it or not, but I'm going to give it a shoe polish treatment, a black shoe polish, and that might darken it down a bit too, and then make all the sculpted details, all the line work and all those intricate little bits and pieces that show up the suit, and make them stand out. Yeah, so as it is, I'm not totally happy with the colour, but the shoe polish might change that up and make it look even better. That's what I'm hoping on anyway. So the general approach to this is you just liberally brush it all over the surface, let it get into all those little creases and crevices. And there are two approaches, two schools of thought. You can brush it on, let it dry, and then with a scouring sponge and hot water, scrub it off to leave all the colour in the dark lines, or you can wipe it off while it's still wet. I tend to go for that approach as opposed to the former, because it's kind of easier, especially when you're doing a large area. But it just comes down to the overall effect you want, because it also gives you a slightly different finish as well, depending on which one you use. See that there already has made a dramatic difference. Just trying to make sure I get to all the shoe polish, because it can pull up and if you miss anything it can look ugly when it dries. But again, it's all rectifiable anyway. Yes, that's looking heaps better. It's darkened up the colour a little bit as well. Not quite so purple, more of a grey now, a darkish grey. Don't know how well the camera picks that up, but yeah, that's the sort of look I was hoping to get. Now I'm going to give the armour pieces the same treatment, just an all over oiling down with the shoe polish. Hopefully make this look very different. Probably calm down some of these brighter colours just a tad and really make the sculpt come alive. Yeah, and you can always go in if you're not too happy with some of the details not coming out, and just go over it again and just leave a little bit more of it there. This is where the option of letting it dry and then removing it might work more in that favour. Just carefully going over the head sculpt. Trying not to let it bleed too much into the eyes, especially because I don't want to keep them clean. So now I'm going to go in on the faceplate here and do a bit of darker pink undershading just around some of these lip areas and a bit around the cheek as well. I'm just going to blend this by stippling. Try not to do too much. So I've just put a little bit more of that pink, darker pink around the edges and on the lips. And now I'm just going to blend it with a bit more of the Tamiya fresh colour, just to blur the lines a bit, make it look a little bit more like a gradient colour change. Just blending it through so it looks more natural. I'm just using a colour called Steel, just an acrylic, and I'm dusting it over the boots just to calm down that black look and make some more of the details more obvious. It's already done this one here, just with the light dry brushing of the steel colour, creates a nice contrast. It just calms down that shiny plastic look. I'm just using a colour called Cotton, Tamiya colour. I'm just dry brushing over the brown leathery portions just to give them highlights, sort of create a wear and tear sort of effect. And this process will be repeated on all the brown strapping, so it all looks uniform. Gives you the same impression. So here he is, humans. What do you reckon? I think he turned out really good. It was a lot of work, but it all came together really nicely. And the figure, as I said at the start of the intro, it's 10 times better, at least. I hope you enjoyed it too, humans, in watching me create this thing. Join me next time, shall you, for the next one, whenever that is. This is Retro Rocket Man, over and out.